Hi everyone, my name is Sunil. Good morning, good evening. Okay, so I'll quickly cover up the IAM introduction. Then we will go with the Sailpoint introduction, why we need Sailpoint. Okay, then we'll start with the Sailpoint installation. Okay,
Sure.
okay. So first of all, this domain is called Identity and Access Management, right? So Sailpoint is comes under this domain. So what is this domain and what why we this domain is so important now? So previously, so this domain is basically all about organization, a company where person join organization and he or she works there and then they leaves, right? So from joining to the time period they leaves the firm, that the whole period, right? In this whole period, we need to manage their access. Okay, when they join, what access they should get as in by default, and after joining, what access like after signing business work, like what access they should have, right? So basically it's all about like what access we are getting. So basically when you join, let's say a simple example of Accenture, right? So when you're joining Accenture global, so let's say if you are joining from India region, so what will happen? They will assign you based on your region, based on your department, they will assign you certain access. Okay, they will provide you one Windows laptop, they will provide you Outlook, where you can send and receive emails, right? They will provide you LMS portal, leave management system, payroll portal, different portals and different accesses, right? So all this together are different level of access that is assigned to employee when they join, and the moment when you leave the organization, all this access gets revoked, right? So basically IAM is all about managing this access. Why this is so important, that we'll understand from this PPT. So first, we'll go with the problem statement in organization. So network use multiple identity system. That means when in the previous approach, in the previous or even for the some organization in the current system also, they have a different identity for the system. So for example, you join a company and Accenture, for HR they will create your employee ID. Okay, for Outlook your unique identifier is your email ID. Then you will for the payroll ID you have a global personal number. So different IDs used. So this will be a big challenge to remember all these IDs and and to sync all these IDs together. Okay, users get confused with all of these IDs. Management and audit has difficulty keeping track of all these IDs, since this is it's very difficult to track and sync all ID that is belong to a one person. Okay, the bad guys are quite happy. That means for example, generally some organization use first name last name, okay, to uniquely create a unique identifier for a employee, right? But first name last name can be same. So this way basically what happen, right? A wrong access is provided to a user. For example, let's say I'm a normal employee, right? And I just joined as a junior software trainee, like a software trainee in organization, but somehow I got access of admin level on a system, so I can, I have a more privilege than I should not be. So this is an issue. Regulation and compliance, every organization they have some set of standard and policy and some compliance standard from CMMI or from other from country level also, so that we cannot maintain. Since our data is not maintained, so any regulation and compliance will be very difficult to maintain. Increasing threats, identity threat, and exposure of confidential info. Since identity theft means, for example, I am logging into system as an you. My credential and your credential somehow got exchanged, or I got your like my username is same as you, so I can log in into system. Some organization what they do is, for example, they create user ID with the first name dot last name, and initially they send by default password to everyone. Then on the next login they will ask you to change your password. But let's say you are on leave today, right? You and me both joined today on the same day, so I can simply generate your first name last name as a user ID, and the same default password I can use to log in. So this kind of issue is called identity theft, exposure of confidential info. Since There are two ways. One is, for example, I am not supposed to uh, see those information or use those information, right? So that is one challenge. Second challenge is, let's say if I left the organization, still I have access to those systems. So all this together leads to exposure of confidential info. Maintenance cost. The average employee need across 30 application. Companies spend an estimated 40 $40 user per year for password reset. So basically, nowadays, all the organization, what they're doing for each and every system, they have purchasing a license product. For example, for email communication or for communication purpose and storing the file, what they are doing, they are purchasing Office 365 license from Microsoft, which will provide you Outlook, which will provide you Teams, which will provide you SharePoint, all this together as a complete package, right? And that license cost is also per user base also, right? The initial license, then per user license. Similarly, for the Active Directory, which is basically used to control your Windows laptop from a centralized system in any company, in any organization, that is also per user chargeable. So, and also the IT team who's actually is there to handle the all the existing employees requests, they're spending a lot of effort in password reset, because every time we forgot the password, we don't remember the user ID, and we keep resetting the password. So huge cost is involved in this. Any question on this?
From my end, I don't have any questions.
Okay, so many IDs for a user, they will have multiple account, and for each account they have different IDs, multiple contexts, because a company basically don't they don't have a simplified approach for employee. They have a different type of employee: full-time employee, part-time employee, daily wages, contractor, fixed term contractor, hourly based contractor. So basically multiple contexts are also involved. So all this together making organization very complex to maintain their employee and their compliance and other hierarchies. Impact on the organization, from end user perspective: too many IDs, too many password, must wait for access to application. You might heard that okay, a person join an organization and they're waiting for a few weeks, that okay, their laptop is not assigned to them, their access is not assigned to them. And when we also work in project, we observe this commonly issue that okay, we onboarded into project, but our access is not assigned to us. Okay, because that is waiting for different level of approval, or someone is not aware like okay what they need to do. So this kind of issue, basically this will delay in the business. From the administrator perspective, too many IDs, again too many end user requests. They are requesting like what is my ID, what is my password, to set my password. Difficult or unreliable ways to sync all this account, since IDs are totally different. There is no way to match. Every time they need to write a custom process, and that is very difficult to sync all those accounts. So, for example, I have account on 20 application, but let's say on this 20 application, my unique identifier is different. Somewhere they're using my first name dot last name, somewhere they're using my employee ID, somewhere they're using my email address, right? To sync all those account that is linked to me, it's very difficult. Audit and compliance: orphan accounts are there, limited or no audit capability. That means first we go with the orphan accounts. Orphan accounts are those accounts where account is created of a user, but there is no user exists for that. For example, let's say today 10 users join Accenture, right? So now what will happen? Let's say somehow due to some mistake, 12 user got onboarded, but actually there was supposed to be only 10 user to be onboarded, right? So this two users is called as orphan accounts, where the accounts are created, but actually there is no human employee present for those two accounts. So that is called orphan accounts. Limited or no audit capability, that means since we don't have a proper sync of data, too many IDs are created for a same user, so it's very difficult to do audit. And also there is no way to track down requests, who created requests, who created this user, who created accounts. It's very difficult to perform audit. Problem solution, identity and access management, a complete one-stop solution where we have different module identity repository where we are storing all the employee data, then reporting and monitoring tool which will be used to generate different reports and also monitoring. Security policy informant tools, this will be used to implement the compliance and other policy in our organization. Software provisioning tool which will be used to create account on different application, and also this will be used to assign different access on application. Password management tool. So all this together is basically provided in a single solution. So and the prerequisite of this, if you see the highlighted in the red, right? First, we need to store all the data in this system, that is identity repository. Okay. Once we have the data, then we can perform the reporting, monitoring, any policy, anything that we want to do, we can simply perform. So first, we need to set up a process that will bring data in a proper way in one centralized system. Okay, what is IAM? IAM is a framework. Identity access management is a framework of business process, policy, and technology that facilitate the management of electronic or digital identity. With an IAM framework in place, information technology managers can control user access to the critical information within the organization. System used for IAM include single sign-on system, two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication, and privileged access management. This technology also provides the ability to securely store ID and profile data as well as data governance function to ensure that only data that is necessary and relevant is shared. So basically, in organization, the main purpose of IAM is only share those data with me, only share those access to me which is relevant for me. Because nowadays what is happening, every organization they have different department, different teams, right? And each department is different from one another. For example, one department is R&D. Let's talk about this product based company, Sony or Samsung. They have R&D departments, right? So only those users who are part of those R&D team, they should have access to those servers, those systems. So that is basically the main key goal of R&D and access management. IAM component, how individuals are identified in a system, understand the difference between identity management and authentication. So when you log into your Windows laptop or you, let's say, your mobile, right? You enter your password, username or password, right? When you enter your credential and the credential get authenticate that okay, this credential are right, that is called authentication, right? But what access you have on your Windows account, Windows laptop, let's say, you can change your whole setting, you can send email to everyone, okay, you can download and install any software. So that is your access, what access you have. When you work in a company, you will see that they control all this from a centralized system. You cannot install software directly. You need to take approval. They will allow, they will change your access for a certain time period, then you can install the software. Okay. Or you have to request through a portal, and then from the backend they will automatically install. So basically all this is our access on your Windows machine. Similarly, you will have access to different portal. A simple example is when you log into your Facebook or let's say your bank account, you can see only your data. What is your first name, last name, your email ID, etc., right? So basically, and you can also alter those details. Similarly, for the bank account, you can see your account balance, you can see your transaction, right? But as a part of admin team, the admin team, they can see others data as well, right? As a part of Facebook admin team, they can also see and alter other data, right? So this is a difference, is basically an access. You have a basic access, they have admin access. So this access is basically controlled through the IAM. How roles are identified in a system and how they are assigned to individual, adding, removing, updating individual and their role in a system, assigning level of access to individual or group of individuals, protecting and the sensitive data within the system, and securing the systems itself. So these are the component. Basically, these are the things that we generally perform in any IAM, IAM solution. Why is IAM important? Business leader and IT department are under increased regulatory and organization pressure to protect access to corporate resources. As a result, they can no longer rely on a manual and error-prone process to assign and track user privilege. IAM automate this task and enable granular access control and auditing of all corporate assets to a premises and in the cloud. This is the first reason. Second is IAM, which is an ever-increasing list of features, including biometric, behavior analytics, and AI, is well suited for the rigors of the new security landscape. For example, IAM tight control of resource access in highly distributed and dynamic environment aligned with the industry transformation transition from firewall to zero trust model and with the security required of IoT. What is mean by basically the main goal is we are simply managing the access, we are controlling the access, but at the same time, the software tool is built around the latest security technology, right? Like biometric is there, SSO is there, single sign-on is there, right? Multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication. Everything can be clubbed with this IAM solution. Benefit of IAM give more control to audit. Access privilege are granted according to the policy, and all individual and service are properly authenticated, authorized, and audited. So everything is in a track. Everything is going through the process. So it's very easy to perform audit. Trim down time to deliver application and services. Companies that properly manage identity have greater control of user access, which reduce the risk of internal and external data breaches. Since everything is tracked, right? We define a process that okay, person A should have this access, person B should have this access, and person A should not have this access, right? So everything is in place, the policy in place that will automatically get triggered and run. So this way basically we can control the user access, get better operational efficiency. Automating IAM system allow business to operate more efficiently by decreasing the effort, time and money that would be required to manually manage access to the network. So previously we were following a manual process, but now we are automating everything, all the process we are automating. So it will reduce the time. This process will be lesser prone. Yeah, it will be lesser prone, and also we have more control on the process. Improve security. In terms of security, the use of IAM framework can make it easier to enforce policy around user authentication, validation, privilege, and address issue regarding privilege creep. So basically, previously we had no control over the access. Okay, we cannot implement any additional layer of security. We cannot configure SSO or anything because the whole system was totally messed up because of different IDs. But now we have a one solution. Everything is all the data is in one place, so it's very easy to implement any other additional security layer on it. Improved regulatory compliance. IAM system help companies better comply with the government regulation by allowing them to show corporate information is not being misused. Company can also demonstrate that any data needed for auditing can be made available on demand. That means, first of all, we are showing them that all the accesses are in properly configured, not misused. And secondly, we can also generate data for the audit because now everything is in place, everything is going through one solution, one tool. So for the audit purpose, we can generate data that okay, for this person who requested this access, who approved, what date it get approved, everything will be captured by IAM solution. You can now audit review who has what account, why do they have those account, who approve those account, are there any orphan accounts, who has access to what, for how long they had that access. So everything will be tracked in an IAM solution. So from the audit perspective, they can simply go and check this. Okay, so summaries, it's become impossible to manage all of this account and write by hand. You can automate controls, you can automate the audit reports, you can control the process. Any question, any doubt on this? Okay, I'll go with the second PPT, that is to Sailpoint development training. Okay, so in identity access management, we have multiple tools in the market, right? But why only Sailpoint? So this is a Gartner report of identity access management. This will give you, this was before COVID, so this will give you an heads up like what is the scope of identity access management for the future. So this report was previously before COVID, but now after COVID, situation is totally changed. This is this is going to be a bigger market in coming years. So, what is Gartner, right? Why we are following this Gartner latest report? So, Gartner is same like we have ISO and we have WHO. Like WHO is for medical. Similarly, Gartner is for all this technology perspective, which will give you data about reports and etc. Okay, and this is the way that Gartner give you a magic quadrant for identity access governance, where you can check who is the like leader in the market from the current tool. And this is for the identity access governance, and you can simply go and check for the access management. You can check for the who is leader in the video conference applications. You can simply check who is leader in the cloud services. So Gartner provides this data for all the technology. Okay, so as you can see that Sailpoint is leader, and Sailpoint is leader from last 4 5 year, and it will be leader in last in coming 4 5 year as well. The problem with the Savient is, in the Savient you have very less control over the customization. So this is the biggest challenge with the Savient. So that's the reason Savient, and that's where in the especially in the US market, like in the US customer, they are not liking the Savient tool now, because the main issue that they are facing is the customization cannot be done in the Savient, whereas in the SailPoint you can customize the whole product. So this is the advantage of SailPoint from last few years, but Savient comes with a good feature, but same time with the limitation of customization, Savient is not a preferred solution, especially in the US market. Okay. This is also one report from the identity governance and administration review and rating. This is from the customer, like the client, basically we can say. As we can see, SailPoint is again a leader. So this report is generated by Gartner. You can simply go and check on the Gartner website, and you can also go and check for other technology as well. Like, okay, who's leader in the cloud services? So you will see that okay, Amazon Web Services is the leader in the cloud services. They will give you proper graph and everything. So this way you can check and trust that this is the main organization in the world that who give you the right data, and the value of the data is also, I mean, important. So this is about SailPoint, why we are choosing SailPoint. This is a home screen. Okay. Any other doubt, any other question from anyone?
I'm good. I don't have from my end.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.